Hope you have revised your last topic. It was a very general, simple topic, wasn't it? What a political party is. What was a political party defined as? An association of people who share interest. Then what did we learn? The need for political parties. Otherwise, there will be nobody to account for what is happening within the government, how the government functions. That is what we had learned. Now the next is the party systems. Now let's see what party systems are. Now, in a democracy, any group of citizens is free to form a political party. In a democratic setup, is it not? Any group of citizens is free to form a political party. So, you cannot set any limit to the number of parties a democratic country can have. So, it can be a party which has only very few members, a party which has too many number of members. Is it not? So, any group of people who desire to form a political party while sharing their common interests and desires to win and contest elections, form a government and work for the people of the state or the country, then it has to be allowed. So, there are many political parties. There will be many registered parties, but all might not be actively participating in the election process. Only a very few of them run the race and compete to win. Even though anybody, any group can form a political party, and we have A to Z number of political parties for our country, it is not necessary that all these parties actively participate in the election process. Their objective may not be to win and contest elections. So, let's see how many active parties are good in a democracy. How many active parties are good in a democracy? Is it enough that we have only one party, we have only two parties, we have more than two parties, or is it good when they get together and contest? So, let's see that. So, in class 9, when we learned about the features of democracy, we learned about China, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, etc. So, from there let's take the example of China. In China, we learned that it was always a communist party that won elections. It was also said that there are many political parties. It was allowed for the existence of many political parties. But when it came to elections, there was a particular condition kept. Only members of the Communist Party can contest elections. So, the candidate has to get an approval from the Communist Party to be a candidate in the election process. So, here what is existing? Only one party is allowed to officially exist, contest elections, and they always win and form a government. So, this can be called as one party system existing in so-called democratic China. Why I said democratic China? Even though there is no choice, is it not? Not allowing or not giving freedom to individuals to contest the way they would like to be a part of any political party and contest elections. When that freedom is forbidden, we cannot call it to be a real democracy, even though election is conducted, which is one feature of a democratic government. So, the existence of one party system cannot be accepted in democracies. Why? Because it is against the democratic ideas. What is the democratic idea that is not existing there? That is, there is no freedom to compete. In democratic elections, there should be at least two parties to compete and provide a fair chance for these parties to come to power. The people will also have choice. So, that is the first party system, one party system. The next is bi-party or two-party system. So, we have already understood and said that one party system is not good, cannot be accepted in democratic countries. The next is bi-party or multi-party system or two-party system. Here, two major parties, there will be ample number of political parties, but among them there will be two of them who are considered to be very important, influential, and they are considered as major parties. The two major parties will exist, they will contest elections. So, one is already in power and the other, they are trying to capture power from the first one. So, each of these parties will have an effective role to play. One to continue in power, the other to capture power from the existing government. So, such kind of parties, bi-party or two-party system is good in democracies because there is freedom of parties to contest elections, freedom to voters to choose from them. So, there is a freedom given to voters, choose and change. So, that is applicable there. So, for this bi-party system, you can have UK, USA as examples. The next is the multi-party system. It is not one, it is not just two. So, it is multi, more than two. So, in certain democratic countries, there are more than two political parties existing. Each one will try to enter or come to power on their own or by getting together friendly associations of political parties which are called as alliances. They try to get to power. This happens in India. There are ample number of political parties in India. So, it is when these multi-party systems, they enter into alliance, we get a government formed which we call as coalition. A coalition government can be formed. But the problem with this kind of government, or when you have multi-party entering into alliances, entering into friendly alliances, what kind of parties will enter into alliances? Those parties which are having almost the same interests, opinions and views, they will get together. Otherwise, there will be great trouble and problem once the government is formed. Even then, after they get into power, in coalition government, because there are various parties, just to win the election, everybody will nod their head and say, oh, of course, we'll stay together, we'll compromise for anything, etc., etc. But once they come to power, things will change. So, in alliances where multi-party system exists and coalition governments are formed, political instability can happen every now and then. But at the same time, because there are many political parties, different representatives, different parties who have different ideologies for themselves, their method of working for the people might be different. So, when it comes to decision making process, Many ideas can be put together, many interests will come in, many opinions will come in. So, it can help to have a better decision making process, and it might lead to better decisions made. So, usually when in a multi-party system, when several parties in such systems join together for the purpose of contesting and winning elections and winning power, you can say, they can be called as alliances or front. They can be called as alliances or front. Soon after the general elections in 2004, in our country too, alliances were formed. They were the National Democratic Alliance, United Progressive Alliance. National Democratic Alliance, United Progressive Alliance. And later, a third alliance was also formed, and that was called as the Left Front. That is what we commonly hear as NDA government was there, UPA government was there. When these days on channels we can hear these names when there are clashes, when they get together to talk about all what the political issues that are present. So, now what we have to think is, which of these is good? Are any of these good? Usually, party system evolves over a long period of time. It depends on the nature of the society, the political history of the society, the election system of the state of the country, and all this has taken a long time to evolve. So, it will not go off in a day or two. It cannot change, or it will not change overnight. So, based on these, each country chooses its party system. So, for example, in our country, India, which has a varied social and regional diversities, and this regional and social diversities has made India to have more than 800 registered political parties. So, every political party, once it is formed, and if it decides or if it feels to contest elections, it has to be registered with the Election Commission of India. Only those parties are allowed to contest elections. So, in our country, we have got enough and more number of political parties. Each community will like to have a political party to have their dominance in the political system of the state or the country. Different sections of the society would like to be part of the government that is formed for them. So, there can be enough number of political parties for such a vast country like India. So, when we discussed about each of these, one party, bi-party, multi-party system, each one was good, had positive aspects of their own. At the same time, each of them had negative aspects too. A single party or a one party system is dominating all the other groups or kinds of people existing in the society. The in bi-party system, it is just two kinds of ideologies and interests that pops in. The other one, in multi-party system, Very difficult to compromise with each other. Always selfish motives come up. So they form alliances or fronts, form coalition governments, which will find it very difficult to exist and find it very difficult to make decisions. Good for the welfare of the people and the progress of the society and the country at large. So, hope you have understood. We just now discussed about the party systems any democratic country in the world can have. Have you got any doubts related to that? It's a general topic, it's easy to understand. Now, in your textbook, now before that, shall I ask a question? We were talking about political parties all this while. And we know for ourselves that political parties are not very good. They have their selfish motives. But still, there is popular participation in political parties. You and me would like to be a part of a political party, a member of a political party, rather than keep away and watch the drama that is going on, the movie that is running. Even though it is said that political parties are unpopular let's say in our country, but when we check statistical data, we can see that even though they do not enjoy much trust among the people, citizens willingly participate in the activities of popular political parties. Why is it that they do this? They may be against the ideologies of various parties. So they feel that political party A is better than B and I'll be part of political party A. Some others feel that the other is good and they become part of that party. All this is because they have a feeling that if they don't belong to any political party, they will go unrepresented or their grievances will be unnoticed and nobody will help them to get them solved. Without being a part of the political party, IOU will find it difficult to approach the government machinery to get things done for yourself. So, everywhere these political parties have something to do. Some of them join political parties to ensure that they are identified as influential persons in society. You meet person X, there is a common talk that you meet individual X or leader X or party member X, everything is done for you. Your problem is safe. It is solved. That is our selfish motive to get our problems addressed rather than the common problems, rather than working for the welfare. So that individual X or leader X also will have selfish motives. Getting money, his muscle power makes him better than another individual in the same society. So everybody, even though they say to themselves that political parties do nothing for the welfare of the country and its people, there is always an urge to be part of political parties because of all the reasons I discussed or explained right now. Yes?